What is behind the general business confidence in Taiwan, both over the next 12 months and over a more long-term period?
In this year's Business Climate Survey, a survey that we conduct every year in the fourth quarter and release this month in January, we saw sustained high levels of confidence from our members in both the future economic outlook for the next 12 months, as well as their own revenue prospects for the next 12 months and 3 years. When we look at what's behind that, Taiwan obviously has many great strengths. Among those are rule of law, a tremendously talented base of intellectual capacity and workforce, and also an established role at the center of some of the world's most important existing and future industries. So when we take all that together and look at prospects both for the economy and for company growth, our members reflect back that about 80% see the economy as either sustained or getting even better over the coming 12 months, and an even higher number are saying so for their own revenues.
One of the more surprising numbers is that only 7% of businesses say they were affected significantly by cross-strait relations, and we've seen more domestic issues such as energy actually take more significance in this business report. Can you talk a little bit about how some of these domestic issues, such as energy, are now leapfrogging concerns about cross-strait relations?
And we've certainly seen geopolitical uncertainty rise to certain high levels over these recent years. If we go back to 2022, again, taking our survey in the fourth quarter of each year, it came just a few short months after Speaker Pelosi's visit to Taiwan, when the media globally, locally, was very much focused on what was happening around Taiwan. And so we saw the numbers spike. The following year, they came back down, and then this year, third year now, we've seen them really stabilize on that question. So what I think we're seeing is that there is a settling in, that people see this as the new reality. It's become our members have become more or less accustomed to that reality. They've factored that into their plans. 40%, for example, of our members are saying that they're developing business continuity plans to help mitigate impacts, et cetera. And so the questions return to sort of these ones of what can Taiwan do, what can all of us do as stakeholders to improve Taiwan's economic outlook and prospects? And that is indeed where energy came out as a top area of concern and interest from our members.
One of the additional domestic concerns was over government regulation and transparency. Can you speak to a little bit about what you're hearing on the ground, not so much concerning the lack of transparency, but about how regulation and transparency can improve?
So for the last 10 plus years, the American Chamber of Commerce in Taiwan has promoted what's known as good regulatory practice. This is a concept of how to get the maximum amount of input and ideas from all stakeholders, the public, companies, and every institution, in the formation of new rules and regulations. And Taiwan actually has done quite well in terms of how the infrastructure for the development of good regulatory practice has been rolled out over these years. But we have seen some of the practical aspects of implication, the results of that implementation being less than desirable. So our members have reported that they have concern about whether rules and regulations and laws are interpreted on a consistent basis. And so there's still definitely room for improvement. But I think it's important to remember that when we talk about room for improvement, we are talking about comparing Taiwan to the very highest standards globally. We think that as a democracy, as a place where the public is engaged on so many other issues, rulemaking should be subject to the exact same kind of public oversight and involvement as the rest of Taiwan's system.
Just recently, we've seen the United States House pass a bill regarding double taxation between the United States and Taiwan. Can you speak a little bit to the importance of this legislation?
Yes, and we were very pleased to see that the U.S. House has passed that on an almost unanimous basis in the past couple of days. And it's something that our members have advocated for and asked for quite some time. We see this as helping the U.S.-Taiwan trade relationship in really two key ways. One is that there are many small and medium-sized enterprises, really on both sides, that want to invest in both directions, but may feel, especially for those smaller companies, that there's some limitations associated with taxation regimes. And secondly, we think that this kind of initiative, like so many other things going on now between Washington and Taipei, is good for the overall relationship. It's a mutual recognition of how important each side is to the other.
Dan, thank you very much for joining us.
My pleasure. Thank you.